there, chipmunks. Welcome to Cooking with Angry. I'm your host, Angry Chipmunk, and today we are going to be making some roast veggies. So let's get right to our ingredients list, huh? Today we have some garlics in it, some onions in it, some sweet potato, some regular potato, the rest of the broccoli, and carrot. And then we've got some spices, which is going to be this smoked paprika and mustard and salt and pepper mix that we got from Aldi. But to be honest, if you just get all of those things and mix them together, it's exactly the same thing. So whatever. Plus, we're going to be putting in the best whole grain mustard. So as you can see, I have already pre-prepared most of the ingredients because as it turns out, watching people chop veggies is actually super boring. So just for reference, these are about the size of the florets. You know, they vary from floret to floret, but I like to keep them pretty big inside baked veg because, I don't know, it just tastes better. I also really love the broccoli trunk thing. So I always include this one. Just chop the end off, and the outside is a bit yucky, so get rid of the yucky bits. And chop. Boom, done. Plus, it's probably good for you and all that kind of stuff. We have about a half a bag of low-carb potatoes in this. You can use whatever potatoes you like. Red potatoes, yellow potatoes, chat potatoes, dirty potatoes. Doesn't really matter. Just taters. Taters are yummy, no matter what kind of taters. Cut the yucky pieces off. If there are any yucky pieces, skin on, please. It's good for you. I think when I was a kid, I was told it would make my hair curly. Didn't work, but it did turn it purple. Now, I like to leave these in big old chunks, so just cut them in half again, and then maybe sixes like that. Gives you enough to get on your fork without it being pathetic or anything like that. This was one medium-sized broccoli. You can use whatever size broccoli. You don't even have to use broccoli. I mean, you should, but you don't have to. And one medium-sized sweet potato. If you go 2 small sweet potatoes or 1 large sweet potato, 1 large broccoli, etc., you can make 6 serves out of this. This one will probably do 4 pretty hefty serves. So we'll see when it's all baked because it'll reduce a little bit. But with the sweet tater, I'll just slice it in rounds and then literally go in with the strips and leave them, you know, nice big fat strip size because they do get quite soft once they bake. You don't really need to be too concerned about that one. Now that I look at it, this guy's a little too big. We've also got in there an onion and 3 cloves of garlic. With the onion, again, keep it in, don't, whatever. I always go quite large, so just 3 or 4 slices and then cut it in half. Because this, again, will bake down a little bit, you know. And with your garlics, the same basic principle of getting the skin off. Give it a little bit of a smacks. But for this, I don't like it super mushed. So just a little bit of a smacks. And then roughly chopped up, because I want big chunks of garlic when I eat it, right? And if you're like me and you have plenty of cats in your house, you're probably going to be having some cat fur in this as well. You know, it's good for your digestion and stuff. Just mix that around. Make sure everybody is all comfy and cozy in there. They're all good friends in there. Butter. We're just going to get ourselves a good old healthy chunk of butter. Chop it up a little bit. That cat from behind. Oh, there we go. And just plop little chunks of butter all over the place. This will just melt in, make it taste good. Put on some of our seasoning. You can also just do this with salt and pepper. You don't need all this fancy paprika and mustard seeds. But I tell you what, it tastes real good. So we're gonna go with it. It's about time to have some of that meal making drink. Today we're having bourbon whiskey and Pepsi. So get you some. Also in this, we do have the butter, but we need a little bit of olive oil. As Jacques Pepin says, olive oil for cooking, butter for browning. Just drizzle a little bit of that on there, just to help it. And I like the grainy mustard because it's not super spicy or anything. It's actually kind of sweet. Just gonna plop some of that on there. Give it one more little mix. Make sure everything gets in there as best it can. Boy, this looks like yummy. We call this one and veg because we're going to pair this with a protein of some sort, and the protein always changes, but the veggies remain pretty consistent. Also, it's just an easy way to differentiate what this food is from something else. Today, I believe that we are having veggie schnitties, veggie chicken schnitties. Maybe at some point later, we'll do a video and make chicken schnitties. If you are vegan or vegetarian, you can leave out the butter if you want. You shouldn't, but you can. It will bake down just fine with olive oil only. All right. Our oven is at 180. I'm going to cover this with tin foil because it'll keep those juices in there while it's baking. And then we'll come back and for the last short amount of time, take that tin foil off so that the things can crisp up a little bit. Ruin your knife. We're going to pop this in the oven for about 20 minutes and check on it. All right, chipmunks. So these have been in for about 45 minutes. That 20 minutes thing was total crap. And here's how we're looking. So what I'm looking for is the fork goes in, but not perfectly smoothly. There's a little bit of resistance. So that's perfect. We're getting some color on those broccolis, which is perfect. So now I'm going to put it back in the oven for another, I don't know, 20-ish minutes or something with the lid off so that we can get some browning and some charring on the veggies. And while we do that, we're going to make our schnitties. So we'll see you then.
A few more sips later.
All right, chipmunks. So the veggies have been out of the oven for a couple of minutes now, but they also had to be in for about 30 more minutes or so. Maybe the oven was a little bit too low at 180. I bumped it up to about 190. But anyway, here's our veggies final look. You can see we've got some nice color on those broccolis in places, and nice color on the potatoes in places, and all that kind of stuff. And here's about the consistency that we're looking for. This is a potato. And see how that just goes straight in. And then the sweet potato is even softer. But just as soon as your fork goes in and it doesn't have any, massive amount of resistance, that is perfect. And in the end, this one made 6 servings of food. So, this is quite much food for what you're making. Cameraman made us some schnitties here. We put some stuff on top and made some kind of weird parmas. And that's a 1/6 of the serve of the food. We're going to go enjoy this one. Now, personally, I don't think that this one needs any extra salt, pepper, or any other spices or any butter or anything like that, because we did put, I don't know, like that much fat stick of butter into that already. And we spiced it quite heavily before we even baked it. And Kitty, we also put that mustard on there. So if anything, the only thing I would put on top of it now would be a little bit more of that mustard if you want it. But I personally, I'm just going to go with it the way it is because I think it's going to taste mint the way it is. So that's this one, baked veg. Hopefully you make it and hopefully you enjoy it. Don't forget to have your meal making drink. It's very important. And as the stale cracker says, while we wait, we hydrate. So, get you some and enjoy.
A few days later.
Hello there.
General Chipmunk.
It's been a couple of days since we made our roast veg, and now we've got leftovers. How are we going to eat these leftovers, you might be asking yourself? I already told you what we're going to do with them, but I'll tell you again. We're going to stick them in the pan and kind of fry them up. And that way, we are going to not only reheat them, but put a little bit of skin on those potatoes and get a little bit more color on them. And we're going to fry that in some garlic butter today. But you can also just do this with plain old olive oil if you want. We've also got our meal making drink for the day, which is a smoky whiskey. It's really strong and actually quite good. So if you're going to have this one and you're going to mix it with a mixer, go a little bit lighter on that one than you would with other more regular flavored whiskeys. Our pan is heating up on a low medium heat, so we're gonna head on over there and get these veggies a-cooking. All right, so we've got our butter in the pan, and that's, starting to melt and sizzle up a little bit. So that's pretty perfect. Let's just put these veggies in here. And because they are already cooked, we're just trying to get some color on them and trying to get some warm into them. And a little bit of skin on those potatoes. A little bit of extra color on those broccolis. So you don't need to go too heavy or too hard with the cooking on them. But we'll just leave these for a few minutes. And then when they're about halfway done, we'll put in whatever protein we're having with our veggies today, which is some kind of sausage thing. And eat it. All right. Our veggies are done. Our sausage things are done. Let's go have a look at them. So as you can see, we got a nice amount of charring on here. Nice amount of crispiness on that tater. Maybe it's a little bit overdone, but you know what? It'll taste just fine anyway. But that crispiness when you get it on that tater makes all the difference on the leftover veggies. So hopefully you make this one, and hopefully you enjoy it, and let me know what you pair with your roast veggies.
Okay, bye.